格闘キャストへようこそ、シンです。今日はとても特別ゲストがスタジオに、来てないんですけれども、インターネットという魔法な、道具で話してます。Nonito Donaire です。The rest will be in English. I'm speaking to the boxing legend, Nonito Donaire. Thank you so much for your time. I'm sure you're very busy.
No, thank you for having me. This is fun. This is cool. I always love Japanese fans, and I love Japan. When I was out there, I always had a great time.
That's great to hear. A little bit off topic. What's your favorite Japanese food then?
Man, it's crazy because I've been to so many places out there, but you just can't take the street out of me. I love the street ramen. Just the street ramen is the best for me. I love street ramen.
Do you have a favorite flavor?
For me, it's tonkotsu. That's my regular go-to. Sometimes I go with the black garlic in it,
Right. Yeah, tonkotsu is great. I love tonkotsu as well. Well, I mean,
yeah.
I have Nonito Donaire on the call. I can't believe this myself. I'm such a fan. But
Thank you.
We got to talk about boxing.
Of course, we can talk about everything, anything, really. I'm more game for that.
Well, it's almost been a full year, or maybe even past that, since we've seen you in the ring. I heard rumors that you will be fighting Santiago for the bantamweight title. There were rumors you were going to fight at super flyweight, but it's bantamweight. I'm cool with that. Is this true?
Right. Well, the only thing that I was going down to the super flyweight or junior bantamweight was because I wanted my fifth division, because I had the interim and no one wanted to fight me at that time. So that's why I suggested going down in that weight. But the option was after Inoue vacated everything, there was that open spot, and that gave me and Maloney the possibility of fighting, but they chose to go to the WBO route, and then the WBC announced that I will be fighting Alejandro Santiago Barrios. That's it.
Right. When will this fight happen?
Well, right now we're just kind of figuring out the date. They're saying I'm already training, for the fight, just in case it happens in June, just in case it happens in July, or even after that. We would want it as soon as possible, maybe at least just a month from now if I can, because I'll be in shape by then and I'll be ready. But anything beyond that too, after that, I'm fine as well. But for me, I just got to get ready.
Right, so the date is not official yet, but the fight is going to happen.
Right.
Well,
for the vacant WBC.
For the vacant WBC title. I'm looking forward to it. I've seen some of Santiago's fights. He has 1 year and it's go, right? So stylistically, yes. I'm looking forward to it. But as a Nonito Donaire fan, I'm a little bit worried for you. Hear me out. Your opponent is young. He's powerful. He's this Mexican boxer. And he's 27 years old, and he's 13 years younger than you.
That's okay. As long as whoever comes into that ring with me, as long as they don't have Inoue power or my power, I'm good. I'm always willing to face anybody out there. I love boxing. I love fighting the best out there. And I know the guy is younger than me by a lot, but to me, I feel good. I feel very focused. And I've seen a lot of these guys growing up in California, and even in my career, just this tough Mexican fighter coming in, and shorter Mexican fighter, and just being tough guys, one of those things. And I'm all for that. I'm ready for that. It's going to be fun for me. I always, I'm a fighter, so I love fighting out there.
Wow. Yeah. I'm sure you studied your opponent, but what do you think his strong points are? I also want to ask you what you think his weak points are. And lastly, how do you think the fight is going to go down?
Well, I think that for him, his good point is he's a tough guy. He has a lot of stamina. He throws punches when he can, and he'll try to see what he can take advantage over his opponent. What he lacks is that power that really scares me, or not scares me, but gets me into danger. I don't think he has that power that will get me to feel like I have to take a step back, or I have to to go in a different route. But I mean, I can fight any kind of style. So what I see in this fight, going into this fight, I want to work on my power. I want to work on a lot of my movements if I have to. I think that I can get him, since he's very offensive when he can. I think that I can get him with counters. So there's a lot of things that I can get with this guy. I haven't seen too much of his fight yet, but I'm just kind of working to see how, just pretty much getting in shape, and then from that point on, just strategic and studying his fights.
Right. So you're not so much focused on the minor details just yet, but you kind of have a vague picture of what he is.
Yeah. And just getting in shape, really, for me, just getting my body back into gear, get my eyes back into gear, get my muscles to react to the fast twitch muscle to activate, and all of that stuff.
Right. This might be a funny question to ask, but how does your body feel at 40?
Amazing. I feel great. I actually do feel great. You know, the weight is kind of sticking to me like magnet, but not too much. And now that my body is starting to go, and the mechanism in my body starts to realize, hey, we're back at camp. You know, I'm starting to shed the weight back again really easily. But I do feel great. You know, mentally, I'm just trying to reverse or acquire the old mentality. You know, the mentality of being hungry, the mentality of being defensive, the mentality of being aware and being cautious. Because right now I just get so, it's just another fight kind of mentality, which I don't want to do that. You know, that's just me being old when I feel like when I do that. So I want to go out there and just, you know, be hungry and just be cautious.
Right. I mean, you have so many fights, and like at a certain point, it'll just be like your mentality will be, oh, it's just one more boxing match.
Yeah, just like, just another day, you know.
Right.
So just another sparring day.
So how do you stay motivated?
Yeah, I think it's just having a purpose, you know, for me to keep my body going, to keep my body in shape, and to keep reactivating those fast twitch, to move faster than before. You know, just challenging myself constantly in the daily training to get better and better and better and perform better. You know, that's my daily goal is to keep getting better, to keep getting faster. You know, just a big challenge for me. I think that's something that keeps me moving, is when I constantly challenge myself to be better than I was.
Right. So just being better than yesterday and keep on getting stronger is your motivation and drive.
Yes. You know, and I think that's every man who has a purpose is a man who can wake up being refreshed and looking forward to that day. While if you don't have anything else, you're just kind of floating and just, I've been there, you know, I've been there where I'm like, I don't know what to do today, you know, and it's a horrible feeling when you have nothing to look forward to.
Yeah. Boredom is one of the worst things ever. I mean,
it's the killer of men.
Yes. I mean, if you commit a crime and do something bad, they'll stick you in a cell where you can't do anything and you're bored, right? It's a horrible thing to be bored and not have anything to do.
It's a horrible thing to be bored, because some people would eat, some people would just do and find something that's fun for them, and sometimes it might not be healthy, you know. So that's why for me, boxing is keeping me in a big purpose of just bettering myself, mind, body, and spirit. And at the same time, just getting all these belts is the goal, and being an inspirational, inspiring others out there.
You mentioned you wanted to go down to super flyweight. I mean, they call it super fly in Japan, and you call it, what was it, junior
Bantamweight, but I call it super flyweight as well. Yeah.
Okay. Going down to super flyweight to become a 5-weight world champion. I'm sure you're already aware of this, but in Japan, you're already recognized as a 5-weight world champion because they count the interim belt.
I recognize myself that as well, you know, but, you know, just the writers, the big sports writer, they're like, oh, well, it was an interim. But even the sanctioning body recognized me as a 5 division. But I just want to make it legitimate that, you know what, there's no contesting that I'm a 5 division.
Well, yes.
It is why I love Japan.
Yes, I mean, boxing fans in Japan love you, but you're not. At the end of the day, you're not going down to super flyweight, and you're gonna fight at bantamweight. So I'm guessing your goal at bantamweight is to become undisputed. Is that correct?
That is very true. That is correct. That's what I've been working to do. That is one of the purpose of why I'm still boxing. And yes, that is the goal.
Right. So just recently, Inoue Naoya's younger brother, Takuma, he got a belt, the WBA bantamweight belt. I think he fought Solis. Did you get a chance to watch that fight?
I didn't get to see that fight at all, but I congratulate him for his victory.
I think he has one loss against Ubari, who you beat and took his belt. But what do you think about Inoue Takuma as a boxer? He is a potential opponent.
Good fundamentals.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. After this, maybe we can dance. After this, me and Takuma might be able to do it if he's willing to do that. I fought his brother in his backyard. I'll go out there too in his backyard. I'm all about the fight. But he's a good fighter. He has good fundamentals, and I think for him, he just need to be. He can't compare himself to his brother. That's just it, because it will limit his capability. I know how Asian mentality and in the household, in the family, it's always that comparison to one who is better or one who is smarter, and all of that stuff. And I think that if he learned to fight in his own legacy, is when his true potential will come out. But if he compares himself to his brother, he will always be in that shadow, So I do want to fight him at his best. And this is what advice I give to him, because I want to fight him at his best.
Right. That's interesting. I never heard of that concept before. How do you suppose?
Because when you're constantly chasing some things, you're always going to be in the back of your head. You're always going to say, I'm not as good as that person, or I'm not as good. I'm never going to be as good as that. So there's always a doubt in your mind already before going into that level of fighting, but when you release yourself and realize that this is who I am, this is what I'm capable of, and I'm going to go beyond what I can do, then you are able to fulfill your potential.
That's very interesting. That's very deep.
I'm a philosopher, like every fighter, like Musashi, for every fighter, or Bruce Lee, for every fighter, when you come to find yourself in the realm of understanding, then you go into the realm of knowing. And when you go into the realm of knowing, you're able to let go a lot of the stuff that holds you back. And so for a lot of fighters that get to the level of knowing, of understanding, they don't know how to let go, and they never get to the realization of knowing. And that's why there's only there's fighters that are become champion. There's fighters that become legends because they're able to let go and become in a level of knowing, And so for me, I know what I'm capable of, and I don't doubt and I don't underestimate what I'm capable of. And so I go in there. Even though at this age, I'm still capable of beating anybody else.
Yeah, that mentality, it comes out in your fights. I think that's why you have so many boxing fans, is because you fight like that. You really believe in yourself.
And it's fun for me. It's really fun for me.
And it's fun for you, and you enjoy fighting.
Yes.
So let's say everything works out. You get a WBC bantamweight belt. Takuma has WBA. Who do you think grabs the other belts, the WBO and IBF?
Well, I know the IBF, Emmanuel Rodriguez might most likely get it. The Filipino guy and Jason Maloney are fighting, and I'm not sure how that fight will be, but Maloney is slated to win that fight by boxing writers and boxing experts.
Nonito. ちょっと機材トラブルがあって。いや、やばい。ノニとドネアとのインタビュー中に機材トラブルは許せない。おい！なんかしろ！ ファミリータイムのおすすめオッズを紹介する企画を始めました。激アツオッズ、自信を持って予測を当てられる激アツオッズを見つけたら、それを皆さんに紹介する企画です。この企画を始めてから的中率 100% です。ロマチェンコ vs デビン・ヘイニー、これは判定決着になります。朝倉海 vs 元谷祐希。朝倉海選手は下から上がる攻撃を合わせると僕は予想しております。朝倉未来と牛久の対戦になると、朝倉未来の判定勝ちを予想します。概要欄に貼ってある特別 URL からオンラインブックメーカーをアクセスすると10ドルのフリーベッドプレゼントをゲットすることができます。Check it out! Is there anyone you see as a threat in the bantamweight division, or who would be your biggest potential threat, I guess is the question.
Me. That's it. I just, I feel that I'm the only one that truly defeats myself. If I'm in the level of when I'm just in the flow, then that's when I just feel the best. But if I start doubting in any way possible or any kind of things in my head, then I go in there with not being my best and the potential of losing to another person. But I don't believe that any of these guys can beat me. But then again, that's what I always felt going into the ring. That's just the mentality that I have.
Right. But you still continue to have that mentality even though sometimes things didn't work out. What's the secret there?
Yes.
How can you keep that?
Well, I've always believed in myself, and I believe that life in itself is having an intention of creation, and creating your purpose, creating your mind, creating your success, creating of who you want to become, has to come with the foundation of believing in yourself. Regardless if you fall. See, the thing is, anybody can fall. How many times have we fallen and then we learned to get up? When we were babies, right? We keep falling. We didn't go and say, man, I'm done. I'm just going to keep walking for the rest of my life. We ended up walking. And so life is always teaching us that sometimes failure allows us to become better. And this is why in all of the fights that I do lose, I get better. I get smarter. And I feel that I'm more dangerous now because now I have something that I want to overcome.
I actually made a documentary about you from when you started to where you first got your world title versus Victor Chinian. I would have never guessed watching your fights that you were kind of a shy, quiet, bullied child. I would have never guessed that. I mean, if you watch your fights, you're just so aggressive. You're not scared of anyone, and you push forward. But I would have had no idea. But I'm sure it was tough, but you overcame that. So what I want to ask you is how much of that affected you as a boxer and your fight style?
Well, I think it allowed me to be the person that I am because of all the hardship growing up without, the lack of food and then being made fun of, being bullied, being laughed at, and being always told that I can't do anything. It allowed me to just feel like, you know what? I'm already down here. I'm already buried. What else is there for me to? What else is left for me to go down or get lower? There's nothing. I'm at the bottom already. So for me, I'm like, you know what? I can only rise higher, and then there's nothing that's gonna limit me because I've already been there. And that's why I've always just kind of. I'm a very grateful person. I love the fact that I have the opportunity to all the opportunities I have in my life, and I can be grateful for the things that I have, the people that I have, people that support me. But because of the things that I have been through that allowed me to say, you know what, I've been there already. You know what, you made fun of me. Okay. Doesn't hurt me. You know what, I got beaten up before. You know what? I've been there already. I'm stronger than that. Now they can't beat me up. I'll beat the hell out of them. So all the experience that I have allowed me to become a fighter with greater heart. That you can drop me as many times, but I'm always gonna get up. You can beat me, but it's not gonna make me depressed. It's only gonna make me stronger. And even losing the way I did to Inoue the last fight, it didn't make me depressed. It made me stronger. How can I overcome so that I don't have to be in that level again? Or how can I go beyond my level so that I will never experience that kind of loss again? Stuff like that.
Right. Bullying is obviously a major problem all over the world, but in Japan, it is a big problem. If anybody is watching this that's going through something which you've experienced, what's your advice for them?
Life is not the same as today. Tomorrow will always change. Your pain today will disappear, but tomorrow you can remember it if you close your eyes and remember the experience. But what makes it stronger is getting past through all of this turmoil, this depression or this dark part of our life. You know, I've been there, and I thought that I didn't have any future. You know, if I had stopped then I would have not been a world champion. I would not have, you know, if I succumb to those people telling me that I can't do it, telling me that I'm not good enough, telling me that I was small, telling me that I was ugly, telling me that this and this and this and that. If I listened to them, if I let that pain buried me, I would be nothing. But I allowed those pain to propel me to become greater, to become stronger, and to become a person that no matter how bad it can get, I'm always going to look into the brighter side of life, because that is a choice that I have in my life, is to make myself, to do what I need to do, to be who I want to be, not because what you told me that I should be.
I got to ask you, on a more of a positive note, how long do you plan on continue fighting?
As long as I can, you know, as long as I can. If I can do it for 10 years, if I can do it until I'm 50s, I want to do it. You know, I love what I'm doing. As long as it's safe for me to do what I need to do, and keep waking up in the morning with purpose, and keeping up in the ring with fun and just excited in you know, going into the ring, I'm all for that, you know. So, but I'm all about that. But going back into the bullying as well, you know, I just want to let, you know, because it's important for me, because I grew up that way, and I've always felt that I didn't have a future. But once you learn to know yourself, once you learn to not compare yourself with anybody else, you know, once you learn that who you are is the person that decides everything else, no one else can decide for you, then that's when you take control of your life. Sometimes they can say some mean stuff. Sometimes they can be physical. Then get stronger. Sometimes they're making fun of you because you don't have good grades. Then get smarter. All of that is a choice of being. All of that is a choice of wanting to become. That is all your intention. And all of that is given to all of us if you take time to do it. We don't get better. We don't get good in one day. We get better throughout and get better as we continue to get better.
Thank you. I'm sure a lot of people need to hear what you just said.
Yeah, it hits good for me, because, like, for me, I've always been very quiet growing up. I've always been very timid, very scared, you know, and I was always, I'm an introvert. You know, when it comes down to a lot of things in my life, I'd rather just stay home and do nothing. That's me, you know. But sometimes you got to learn to just appreciate what you have and appreciate everything, regardless of what situation you're in.
So it's just a chance to grow stronger. Everything,
yes.
It's a challenge. That's very motivational.
Correct.
Thank you. I have to ask you this. I would be persecuted if I didn't. Inoue Naoya versus Stephen Fulton. You know, who do you think takes this fight and why?
Well, I want to see how Naoya is going in there at 122. You know, the guys will be bigger, but I think that he has a big chance because he still has the power, but I don't think his power will carry as well. His power will carry, but I don't think it'll be as strong as it is in the bantamweight. You know, it will still be strong. But I think that he will always have that speed, which will make him dangerous still, and he still will have that power to still make him dangerous. Fulton is going to go in there confident that he's a champion, you know, that Naoya is coming up in weight. So I think that it's a good fight for Naoya with Fulton, because Fulton doesn't have the power that I do. But he is a very smart fighter. and he can be slick if he wants to. He can fight whatever fight that he needs to. So, I think that it's a good fight. I don't know how the fight is going to look like, but it's something that I wanna see for myself.
Right. Is how much of this is a factor with Stephen Fulton going to Inouye's hometown? I mean, you did it twice. Does it affect the fight in a big way?
It does, because there's nobody cheering for you. I mean, for me, there was a lot of people that cheered for me. So I'm very grateful to the Japanese fans, because they cheered for me as well. There's a lot of people that cheered for me as well. So I'm very, very grateful for that. But for him, there's really not much Japanese fans who know much about Fulton. And he's going to be in a very enemy territory. He's going to feel that. And he doesn't know. For me, I've been to so many countries that countries that don't speak English. For him, this is probably the first time he'll be going into a country that doesn't really speak English. And for him, it will be very difficult for him, very different for him. And I don't know how he will react to that, adjust to that. And of course, the food is different, just everything is different, So I don't think he's ever had that experience. For me, I've been everywhere where I've had that experience, So I don't know how that would affect him mentally, but he is a fighter and he is a champion, because he won't, he's gonna go in there regardless of what is going around him.
It's true. So with this, Inoue Naoya going up to super bantamweight, I'm sure there's quite a size difference between his new and his next opponent, Stephen Fulton himself. You don't think the power will translate as much, but is it enough to damage Fulton if he catches him clean?
I think it's I would see just slightly different from here. I think if he can knock guys out here with one punch, I think that the bigger guys are gonna get up. But I think he'll still be a very, very dangerous opponent, a fighter, puncher. I think that he will carry his punches, but he won't be as devastating, I think, comparing to the bantamweight. I think that if he hurts anybody in the 22, I think they're gonna hurt him. I think he's gonna hurt him. I think he's gonna hurt those guys still. I think he still will carry those power in that division, but he won't be as devastating as it was in the bantamweight.
Right. So as he continues to go up in weight, the power will just diminish, or the effect of his power will just continue to diminish.
Going up, yes. If he's gonna continue going up, like for me at 26, I can. The guys were just standing. As in 22s and 18, they would go to sleep. So he'll find out for himself the more that he goes up that it makes a difference when the guy's wider, when the guys are bigger.
Did you notice?
But I don't think the 22 is going to be that much bigger than him.
Right. Did you notice that a lot when you went up in featherweight? The featherweight boxers can take your power a lot better.
Yes. They survive a lot of the punch, a lot of the fights. Sometimes they would fall, but they'll get up. So you can definitely see the difference. But I think I was always been a smaller guy in that division. I think that Inoue is very compact to gain enough weight to be comfortable in the division compared to me being skinny and taller guy.
Right. Stephen Fulton is known as a fighter to win decisions. I mean, he wins by decisions. How much does he have to worry about the judges fighting over here in Japan?
Well, that's something that he's willing to go to Japan for, and that he's confident in that, and he's just gonna try to be very convincing,
Right. He has to be dominant, I guess.
Yes, he has to be dominant.
I've heard you've trained with Casimiro at Omega Boxing Gym. I also heard that you might have had a sparring session with Casimiro. Did that end up happening?
No, there's no footage of any of that at all. But we've seen each other in the gym, and I've given him a little bit of advice to kind of just cool down and not be in the crowd because of, closer to the fight, you got to protect yourself so that nothing happens in the fight and stuff like that, But for me, I usually want to go in my own time. So, but we've seen each other in the gym and all of that.
Right. So you guys are quite friendly at the moment?
Yeah, we're very friendly now. I've helped him out, or my wife has helped his career out in guiding him to get the fights now. So we're very friendly, very respectful to each other, and but boxing is boxing, and I've always been respectful to people as well, and for him, he's learned to respect me as well, and my family. So I'm very grateful for that.
Right. Kashimaro, he's going to continue fighting at super bantamweight, I believe. His next fight is at super bantamweight. How do you think he would fare at that weight class?
He is a bigger guy, I think that he'll be this, I think it's gonna be the same as Naoya, going up into the weight. That's who he is chasing after, is Naoya, to get that fight with him. But I think it's a different thing because he's going up in weight. The guys are bigger in that division, and your power has to be greatly improved if you want to do the same thing that you're doing in the bantamweight.
Right. He is a little bit, even for bantamweight, he was kind of on the smaller side. So it would be interesting to see him at super bantamweight. Some of those boys are big, right?
Oh yeah, oh definitely. But he's getting bigger. He's putting some weight in there as well. But that's something that we all have to kind of see. Like with Naoya as well, how we can, if he can bring that power as devastating as it was.
Yeah, I guess we won't know till the fight happens, but that's why we look forward to the fight, right?
Exactly.
I watch a lot of your YouTube channel. I can really feel that you love boxing, and it's just it's always, I learn something new when I watch it. I also saw, I don't think it was your channel, but there was a live reaction of you watching Gervonta versus Ryan Garcia. And you talked about how when you get hit with the body, you don't suck in, because once you suck in, that's when it really hits you.
Right. Well, there's ways to I guess there's ways to protect yourself, right? And sometimes you can't see the punches that you don't see is the one that hurts you the most. And obviously, when Naoya hit me in the body shot, I didn't see that punch. And the same thing would happen to Ryan. But the thing about Ryan is he inhaled right away, as I did, because I was already tired in the later rounds. And for me, I sucked in and I suffered. And that's why I said, you know what? I have to either weather the storm or go down on one knee and take a little breather and then come back. So I chose that direction. For Ryan, he didn't see it and he didn't know how to get it out of his system. And so, and I guess obviously from what people are saying, he had hurt his ribs during training camp, and that's why he didn't feel like he wanted to continue.
Since you've talked about that body shot where Naoya got you when you guys first fought, the turning your back and walking around, was that on purpose to buy some time? Definitely.
Yes. I'm not going to lie about it. I mean, for me, in that ring, you got to be smart. I kind of look, I'm like, it hurts still. I'm holding my breath. If I go back around this guy, I'll put a couple seconds in, but if I don't go down on my knees, I'm still going to be hurt. And if he hits me one more time, the fight is done. And so that's why I said, you know what, I'm just going to take the knee from there and then breathe. And then from that point on, I was able to recover.
That was genius.
You have to be a genius to survive, man. You got to learn how to survive,
Right. There was also, going back to the Ryan Garcia-Gervonta fight, there was a lot of comments of how Ryan Garcia quit. Like, he didn't want to get up and continue to fight. What's your stance on that?
Well, I mean, again, I felt like he didn't know how to, because the way he was breathing, he just didn't know how to get that pain out. And I think that if he had gotten up, he would have probably went back down. Or if he had gotten up, he would have gotten stopped right away. But I people don't really understand how painful a body shot is. You know, how long it lingers. So I don't think that he purposely didn't want to continue, or he probably did in terms of if the accusation was he hurt his ribs, then that would make sense as well. But I know a body shot when a body shot hits, it hits, and when it hits, it hurts, and when it hurts, a lot of people can't get back up as fast as they want to.
Right. I gotta ask you this: does Lomachenko have a chance against Devin Haney? I'm a big Lomachenko fan, and I'm rooting for him, but I just think Haney is too big and he's young. What do you think?
I think Haney, if he plays a game of the jab, it's going to be very difficult for Lomachenko to go in and do what he does. But if Haney stands there and he doesn't take Lomachenko highly, then that would be his mistake, because Lomachenko, if he can get in there and do his lateral movements and all of that shifting that he does inside, he'll be a very dangerous opponent to have. You know, that's again how Haney is gonna react to all of how he's gonna throw the jab. I think the jab is the most important thing for him winning this fight. You know, for Lomachenko, the way he looked against his sparring partner or Jermaine, which is a good fighter. You know, a lot of people don't give that guy credit. I think that guy's a good fighter as well. And they're giving him that you know, that, oh, he's done. I don't think so. I think he's, you know, if Lomachenko goes in there, covers up and ducks down and get inside, I think that he's gonna all of this is he needs to start early. And I think when he does start early, he's going to be a very dangerous opponent against Haney. But if he let Haney dictate the jab and moving around, Haney's going to win, you know, easy, or he's going to win convincingly or unanimously or in the decision. But I think if Lomachenko goes in there, start early, press on him constantly, I think that he has a big chance of taking the fight.
Right. It's true. Lomachenko has been criticized of being a slow starter in the past. What's your advice to any boxers that are known to be slow starters, or they have trouble getting the pace going early?
You got to work it. You know, when you go in there and sparring, you just got to go. Boom. You just got to go. You just got to go. And every time you go into sparring, you don't just kind of, you know, look around. You have to go. The more that you practice your body and your muscle to memorize to just go, the easier for you to do that in the fight. If that is your biggest thing that you want to change as a fighter, you got to constantly change your ways of sparring to the way you want your performance to be, so that when you go into the fight, you're going to do that.
Right. So just through sparring and the mindset switch.
Yes, that's it. That's it. That this is what you want. There's no time for this or whatever it is. Because the more that you think, it's like, oh well, I'm gonna watch him now. If you're gonna start slow like that, you're always gonna start slow like that.
Right. What would you say to the opposite, where boxers that they're too aggressive and they just go at it right from the beginning? Is that changeable? Do you think that can change?
Oh yeah, that anything can change when you set your mind to changing it. You know, but sometimes it might be harder for other people to change. So for those guys, it's just teaching them a level of control. So if it comes down to like a training and you want to just go all out, you want to throw all the punches, and you get so open or so, you know, you may win the fight, but you're like, oh, you might get caught with something, right? I would always train them into a drill sparring. All I tell him is like, just throw a jab in this round and nothing else. So now he's learning how to control his ways of fighting. Now throw the straight for this one. Now just throw left to the body or left to body to the right. You know, when you give him a scenario, things to do, it makes him think. And the more that he thinks, the more that he learns to control his eagerness to go in there.
That's very interesting. Do you plan on being a boxing coach after your boxing career?
I do love training. I love training. Like in Omega, I train a lot of the guys. I teach them the mentality aspect of a fighter, and I give them a lot of pointers and stuff like that. I love training, and that's something that I truly enjoy, and something that most likely will be something that I want to do after boxing.
I think you'll be a great coach. I really do.
Thank you.
It would be a waste if you didn't.
Mindset.
It would be a waste if you didn't train boxers. I think.
Yeah. The only thing that I would, is they have to give it their all. If they don't, I don't care how good they are. I just toss them out. I'm like, if you're not willing to be here, then you know what, I can't help you because you're not willing to push beyond your capabilities. So stuff like that. That's all I always ask for them is just give me your all. That's all I need from you.
Right. Thank you so much for your time today. I just have one last segment that I do with all the guests that come on here. It's rapid fire Q&A. I have a couple of questions ready, and then you just answer straight up as quick as you can.
All right.
The first one, speed versus size. Which do you pick?
Speed.
Reach versus power.
Power.
Defense versus offense.
Offense.
Fame or money?
Fame.
Looks or personality?
Personality.
If the biggest bear in the world fought the biggest tiger in the world, who would win?
Tiger.
How many weight classes do you think Inoue Naoya is gonna get a belt at?
5.
5. Perfectly. Not 6, right?
No, 5.
If you can give one advice to a young you, let's say 25 to 30, what would it be?
Believe in yourself.
Perfect.
My wife said, don't be an asshole.
That's good. That's good advice too. Thank you so much for your time. If there's any kind of message you want to send over to the Japanese boxing fans, please use my channel. I would appreciate it.
I just want to say thank you to all the Japanese fans, and thank you for supporting boxing. I really appreciate you guys cheering for me when I fight out there. I really appreciate you guys' support wherever I am. So thank you for all the support. Arigatou gozaimasu, and keep being good people. Keep being good to yourself, and keep rising above yourself, man. And I wish you guys the best. Thank you.
If you'd be so kind, do you think you can give Family Time a shout out? Family Time FT a shout out?
What was that?
Do you think you can give Family Time FT a shout out? I have this
Family
recording.
Time FT?
Yes.
Okay. I want to say a big shout out to Family Time FT. Keep doing what you guys are doing. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. I'm sure you're very busy. Good luck with your training.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.